Brene Brown defines traditional empathy as the ability of a person to join another person in their feelings. She's got this great video of like joining somebody down in the pit so that they don't feel alone. And while this is much better than sympathy, which might be somebody going, oh, glad I'm not you, traditional empathy can really trip you up when you're working with your teens, when you're trying to help your teens. So I want to give you a definition of radical empathy. Radical empathy is the ability to imagine what another person's feeling and to legitimize their right to feel that, right? To have no judgment about the fact that they're feeling that or going through that situation. But there's a big difference between joining them in their feelings and kind of witnessing their feelings. Both ways, they don't feel alone, but our teens are so protective of their autonomy, they will fight you if they think that you're gonna, take on their feelings for them. It seems, it comes off as like a betrayal or a boundary crossing that they won't tolerate. And so you can lose the connection that you're actually trying to have with your teen by over-identifying with their feelings. So a couple of things can happen if our teens suspect that we're over-identifying with their feelings. One, so teens are all about autonomy and respect. They want to get respect from people, and they only respect people that they trust. So if we are not kind of these solid, unmovable, receptive, loving, caring places for them to go when they're having their feelings. If we get all triggered and we start having feelings with them, they don't actually feel safe to be able to have their feelings or process their feelings, and they're going to lose respect for us. And if they lose respect, they're going to stop listening to us. And that's the last thing that we want. The other thing is, especially I think with teen boys, maybe teen girls too, if they think that if they share what's going on with them, if they share it with you and you have big feelings about it, they're going to stop sharing. They're going to want to protect you. They're going to think that what they have to tell you is too scary or too provocative or too, bad to share with you if you start having these big feelings with them. And you don't want that either. You don't want them to feel shamed, but you don't want them to hide what's going on with them. And teen boys in particular will want to protect their moms from getting upset or thinking badly of them or, flying off the handle, whatever. So they'll stop talking, and we don't want that either. To practice radical empathy with your kid when they're having a big emotional crisis, there are some key things that you need to convey to them. You could say it verbally, you could text them, or you could find some nonverbal ways to communicate this to them, but they need to hear some things from you that are pretty critical. First, they need to hear that that yes, they're having big emotions, right? That they're having a really hard time right now, that life sucks for them right now. You just have to totally acknowledge that for them. And that those feelings are legitimate, that middle school is really hard, or that trying to figure out relationships as a 15-year-old or a 17-year-old are really challenging, and it takes some practice, right? So you need to legitimize that they're having these feelings. And you can also let them know that you've had those kinds of feelings too. You don't have to go into a lot of detail because it's really not about you. And it's so hard to kind of stay out of their business. I wouldn't go into this too much, but you can tell them that, you had a similar thing happen, or that you had some really hard times in high school, but that you survived it. I think that's also really critical. They have to realize, a lot of these things our kids are going through, it's the first time, right? And they feel like they're not going to survive this. But you as an adult know that we have feelings like this all the time, and we usually survive them. So they need to hear that. They're having these feelings, it's legitimate, and it's okay that they're having them, right? Like they might feel shame or something. They might feel, especially if it's a teen boy, that, he shouldn't be having these feelings because society's telling him that, boys don't do that or men don't do that. So you want to let them know that it's okay, they're having them. And then also really important, you want to let them know that that you're there for them, that you're a witness to this and you're there so that they don't have to worry about getting lost forever. That you have total trust that they can find their way out of this and that you'll help them if they ask for help, but that you totally know that they will find their way out and they're not, that they won't be lost forever, that you're there for them. And if you're having this level of conversation with them where they're trusting you with like their deep, dark secrets, you need to thank them. It's a huge, huge trust issue for them that they shared this with you and that you didn't break down, and that you didn't yell at them and that you didn't, react in a really extreme way. So you want to thank them for trusting you with their feelings because that's really huge. And you need to tell them that you love them, right? You need to remind them that you love them and that you believe in them. So to be able to communicate all of that to your child, to be able to be that for your child, right? To be a witness, to kind of hold their hand, trusting that they are going to be able to get themselves out of this, that it's normal, that it's legitimate, that there's nothing wrong in having these kinds of feelings. You're going to have to do some work for yourself, by yourself, on your own, because this is so not about you, right? And to get out of your own way so that you can be there for them, you've got to do some things. So I think the biggest hurdle for parents is to realize that you can't fix their problem for them. It's not your job. It's not your job. And the older they get, the bigger the problems are going to be, and you're still not going to be able to fix it for them. So you're probably going to have to do some work on your own to get through your feelings about that. With your journal, with a good friend, with a therapist, with somebody, vent, right? Cry. Talk about how hard it is to be a parent. Talk about how much you want to help them. Tell them how much it hurts you that they don't want to talk to you if you're in that place with them. Get all those emotions of your own out so that they're not present when you're having conversations with your kid or sitting in the car quietly while your son cries or, whatever. You have to do that work yourself first. And I read somewhere this concept of being the mountain, that being a parent is like being a mountain. It's this like solid, unmovable, unshakable object that is just there, that lets them, they can storm all over the mountain, but you as a presence in their life is just this solid, fixed energy that they can call on. I love that image of being the mountain. And I think this is also critical. I did this with my foster kids all the time. You want to speak to their higher, better self, right? No matter what they're going through in the moment, when you talk to them, you want to have their best version of them in your mind so that you're talking to that person, not the one who just, punched his brother or, threw a chair in school or refuses to do chores, not the one that frustrates the hell out of you. You want to be talking to your child like the whole child, that when they're, in their best place, when they have all their skills and tools that they're using, speak to that person, encourage that person. It's an energetic thing that's really powerful. And then, the final thought again is just you need to manage your feelings on your own time and not bring that into your dealings with your kid. I mean, you can admit that you're scared. You can say that, you're unsure of what to do and you really want to help them, but you really want to fix it for them, but it's not your job to do that. And so, you can talk about that stuff, but you don't want to bring all this unworked out, raw emotion into it because it's just going to make it harder for them to focus on them, which is where they should be. Radical empathy is imagining where another person can be and legitimizing their right to work through their stuff, right? And to be there for them, especially your kids, if they need your help, but not to try and fix it for them, because you can't. All right, those are my thoughts today. I'm going to put some books below that I think will be really helpful on this topic in the section below. And if you liked this video and it helped you or had you think about things differently, please like it, subscribe so that you can find out the next video I'm doing. I do videos every Wednesday. And leave some comments below. Maybe you don't agree with me. Maybe you've got a question about something. I will totally interact with you and answer your questions or comments if you put them below. So, and finally, share this if you have friends who think that could really like hearing about this. That's what I meant to say. All right, have a good day. Bye.